I'm on Zoom.
Oh,
I
Monica,
hear her.
is she there?
I am.
Oh,
I'm not feeling well, so I wasn't coming in.
all right. Surprised if she was here. Call this meeting to order, please. Sam, can I have a roll call? Sam here. I jumped the gun here. He's got some paperwork. Hold on. That's my grandkids. They're on
Homeschool day.
homeschool day. They're on a civics project.
Good for them.
What a cool city practice.
Municipal government.
Hang out with your grandpa.
Hey, you saw I started mine early as well.
We're just waiting for Sam to get here. All right.
Waiting on you, Sam.
Get him.
Thought I would let you know
Are
that.
you unmuted on the?
Yes, I am. Tom set me up, so I know I'm good.
Okay.
I didn't even try. All right. Well, Sam, I didn't notice that you weren't there, so I called the meeting to order. So we're in session right now.
All right.
If I could have a roll call vote when you're ready.
Councilwoman Cleveland.
Present.
Councilman Saxonheimer.
Here.
Councilwoman Smith.
Present.
Councilman Evans.
Present.
Councilman Hong.
Present.
Councilman Nelson.
Present.
Councilwoman Rosso.
Present.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Here.
All eight are present.
Thank you. Can we start with Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, I was given a resignation letter a couple of weeks ago from Bernie Burns. I didn't realize how long he had been on the personnel board, appointed in 1978. So for 44 years, Bernie's been and chaired that committee most of that time. He wanted to resign a year ago, and I asked him to stay on because there was no one that had the experience that he had. And he agreed to stay on for another year after he wanted to resign. And then a couple weeks ago, he gave me his resignation letter. But not only has Bernie been on the personnel board and chaired that board for 44 years, he was on the TIF commission, responsible for the planning that went into the TIF zone. He's worked on planning and zoning. He's one of the guys that has just been behind the scenes, one of the workhorses that you never see. So I wanted to acknowledge his service to the community, and thank you, Bernie. I've got a little something here for you. I'll read this out loud. In recognition of 44 years of selfless service to the city of Normandy as member and chairman of the Personnel Board, Bernie Burns, we thank you for your leadership, hard work, and dedication. Thank you, sir.
You want a picture for the newsletter or something? I took some. Oh, did you? Okay. Good, Terry.
Good.
All right. Here.
All right. This is an opportunity for citizens' comments. If you have a comment to make and you're a resident, step up to the podium, state your name and your address. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Right here.
Yes, my name is Nitria Brown. I reside at 7240 Normandy Place. I have an ongoing problem with waste management. From day one, we've had issues with picking up my trash. Now, when Normandy was picking up the trash, they told me that I had to put an emblem on my door, which would tell the trash man that they need to come and pick up my trash from where it is, empty it, and take it back. No problems. Since Waste Management has been doing this, we have a problem every week. The mayor slipped in and gave me a trash can to help me with some of the problems, but this continues on. I pay the bill every quarter. I need to get what I'm paying for. I try to call them, I do not get a call back. I've stopped the workers and I've gotten hollered at. And I told them that ain't gonna work. It's not gonna, you're not doing me any favors, I pay for this service, and I like to get what I'm paying for. So, the information that they gave out was not accurate. And they did not tell the procedure in which you request special services for you if you have issues. I have now found that out, and I have followed the protocol that they have asked. I've got an application from the office here, and I got a doctor's statement. They have been submitted today. I'd like this problem to end. If I could do it, believe me, I have no problem with it. So that's my number one complaint. The second complaint is the groundhogs. Take it on. They're having residents of their own. So that needs to be addressed over there, Normandy place. So
Thank you.
I'll leave it there for now.
All right, thank you, I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Anyone else? Yes, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Jolanda Henderson. I reside at 5918 Brand. I wanted to see if there's anything we can do about the trail that runs, the walking trail. We can hear from our house. Sometimes there's fireworks, which I can kind of tell the difference. But lately, I've been hearing literally gunshots. Like people go up on the trail and just shoot guns along the trail behind Brand. So I don't know if there's an opportunity for maybe we can get someone to patrol it periodically. And that's all the time. Thank you.
I forgot one more thing. They must
All
be
right,
dressed.
be brief, please.
It
Thank you.
will. The residents on the block behind there, I don't know what street that is, but they have a habit now of jumping the fences, coming into our yard, hop the fence, and go across either to Natural Bridge or down to where the opening is of the fence. I've asked the man very nicely not to do it. I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
leave it there.
thank you. All right, moving on. Yes.
What was your name, ma'am? Excuse me. What was your name?
Nitria Brown.
Brown? Okay, thanks.
We have on consent agenda the approval of the May 3rd, May 19th, and May 23rd minutes. If I could have a motion, please, to approve consent agenda A.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any comments or concerns?
I may have, let's see, this is the May 3rd one?
I'm sorry, is Debbie speaking? Because all of a sudden the volume went away. The room is censored, it looks like.
We can't hear.
Okay.
You didn't hear anything, Councilwoman.
She made a comment that we had agreed to have a workshop on the issue of the amending the purchasing policy. And that, I believe, is still the intention. It wasn't reflected in the minutes. We've got a motion and we've got a second. If you want to change, if you're happy with the minutes, we can take a vote to pass, or you can make a motion to amend.
So what's the motion on the floor?
The motion on the floor is to approve consent agenda A, which includes meeting minutes from May 3, May 19, and May 23rd. Councilman Rosso has voiced a concern about May 3rd not properly reflecting the conversation that we had about the purchasing policy.
In regards to having a workshop.
Right.
That's not on page 7.
I didn't see it.
So are we to amend the agenda? Or just
Well, we can, we've got, yes, you can make a motion to amend if you choose to do so.
I make a motion to amend.
I need the language that you want to amend, please.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to include the conversation concerning having a workshop on the purchase order policy.
I have a motion to amend the agenda to include language about the agreement to have a workshop on the procurement policy. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The ayes have it. Sam, who gave the original motion to approve consent agenda A?
Councilman Saxonheimer.
Councilman Saxonheimer, can you rescind your motion and reword it to say approve of consent agenda A as amended?
I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda A with the amendment.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I've got an appointment, a couple of appointments to make tonight.
Are we going to go through B and C with the meeting minutes?
Well, we could have if someone had raised any more concerns.
Okay, well, you just said
We just-
A,
we
you
just
didn't say
passed-
B and
We just
C.
passed them though.
But you said A, you didn't say B and C.
Hey, I thought
Consent
we were only
agenda A was
doing,
all 3 minutes.
Yeah.
oh, I thought we were only doing A also.
Consent agenda A,
I see that now, but I was
Okay.
looking at A, B, and C.
Andy, can these be amended after approved?
I think it is based on a misunderstanding. I think there should be a motion to rescind, and then you can reconsider.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll motion.
We have a motion to rescind. Is there a second?
I'll second.
You can't second.
I'd second.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of consent agenda A has been rescinded. Any more concerns or questions?
Yeah, on page 10, I just give it, thank you, Chief Hall, for the written report. Appreciate it. I noticed in Mr. Johnson's previous month email, written minutes, that when you had the substitute here and they had the written report, he was able to be more thorough in reporting what was said at the meeting from your report. And then this, when you were here that last month, he was just only able to summarize it. So thank you. I think the written reports help us all. And then, let's see, there's a misunderstanding on page 11. The plans from the Missouri Department of Conservation are for the roundabout. We're not determining where they're going to be. They're for the roundabout. Is that correct, Yolanda?
Yes, it is.
So on page 11, it says where the city should plant the native plants. The plants are going to be purchased with the grant for the roundabout area. We don't have a whole lot of flexibility with that. They came, they saw the roundabout, they decided that's what they were going to address. We just got the report late afternoon yesterday, and I haven't had time to read it, but the plans, when they were here, were for the roundabout.
Okay, if you got a specific page and line, can you make an?
Page 11,
I don't see-
about where the city should plant the native, there was a discussion about where the city should plant the native plants. There was a
I'm not
discussion.
seeing what you're talking about.
It's the
So
last.
that-
I don't see that on
Last
page
one.
one.
Oh,
Page
there's a
11.
discussion about the city.
Page 11 at the bottom, second to the last line. About where the city should plant the native plants. They're going to be getting them specifically for the environment on the fountain and around it. That's very specific.
Yeah, I thought we discussed that last month. Yeah, I thought that was.
I think
Yeah, but here-
this accurately reflects the
Where the
conversation.
city should plant the native plants.
Okay. We are,
Are you looking for clarification
That
in writing, or?
we should be planting them around the roundabout.
this just reflects that the discussion was had. We're not making any decisions as to where they're going to be planted. This is an accurate reflection of the conversation that was had.
Okay, and, but then it's, we all understand it's
Yeah.
for the roundabout. Yolanda, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anything else?
You want to go,
Going back
just
to-
go,
is that-
You're not coming in very clear, Yolanda. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Going back to the special report, from Chief Hall, is it possible that we can add, that we could actually add the report and the information that he gave us? Was that? On May, what day was it? May 19th meeting, he actually had,
it's page 10.
sorry.
I think it's page 10.
Yes, on page 10, but he actually had statistics, and I was wondering if that could be admitted into the minutes.
Unless he has them, we have minutes, and if you want to make an amendment to those minutes, this again, this is a reflection of the conversation. If you want those statistics, we can do those without amending the minutes. You can just ask the chief for those.
No, I have them. I'm saying, should they be in the minutes, or should they be low? Can we put them in the minutes? Because he gave us the numbers.
Typically, minutes don't include all the documentation and the bills and, these are a summary of the discussion that was had.
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
I do agree with you that typically, the minutes will generally give a kind of an overview of what the discussion was. I mean, I don't think there's any reason that a council person couldn't make a motion to amend the minutes to include the statistics that Councilperson Campbell was talking about, but I don't see it as being necessary to the minutes themselves.
Thank you. Chief, do you have the minutes? Do you have a written report from last meeting?
I can get, I have it saved, yes, but I don't have it with me from last month.
He does in fact have those, a written report. Yolanda, if you would like to make a motion to include into the minutes Chief Hall's written report from the, are we talking about the May 23rd meeting?
May 19th.
May 19 meeting? If you'd like to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend the minutes to include the statistics given by Chief Hall at the May 19th meeting.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Now, are there any other changes?
So we're going to the 25th then?
23rd.
On the 25th, Wednesday, the 25th, 6:30? No, the 23rd.
23rd.
I'm sorry, that's,
There's a
so on the agenda it says the 23rd.
The agenda says the
But the
23rd, the
minutes
actual
will be
Monday.
That's a clear.
Thank you.
Page 13.
All right, well, we'll take care of that when the motion is actually made. All right, well,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
you're good? Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? So if we, Steve, if you could also, now, I'm looking for a motion to approve meeting minutes from May 3rd, May 19th, and May 25th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes of those 3 days with the changes that's been discussed.
A second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, thank you. As you all know, our city attorney resigned a week ago, and we need to not be without. Mr. Brayman from Curtis Hines Garrett O'Keefe has agreed to the appointment and to act as our city attorney. If I'm making this appointment, asking for your approval, and to approve, I'm going to ask to go into closed session at the end of this meeting to discuss some terms. Do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Andy Brayman as the Normandy City Attorney?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry. Yolanda Smith is one opposed?
No, I said nay. Yolanda said nay.
Okay. All right, ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations, Andy, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here to move by the city.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I have one appointment to make to the Parks Board. There's still an opening. Unfortunately, Sherry Kearney can't be here tonight. Her daughter's getting married, and she's at a dress fitting. But she did send a little letter, says, thank you, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I apologize for not being able to attend tonight's meeting. My daughter's getting married, and I have a dress fitting tonight. My husband and I moved to Normandy a year and a half ago. We were looking for a neighborhood with an old character and a strong community. I hold the proverb, it takes a village, close to my heart. A healthy village includes the entire community of different people and different experiences. I'd like to think we can apply that theme to Normandy. I'm essentially an outsider. I have no family ties to Missouri or memories of how it used to be in Normandy. What I do bring to the table are fresh ideas, an open mind, and the desire to make it happen. I want our community to be one that all the others wish they could be. It will take time, but I believe it can be done. Ms. Kearney was at a meeting. We had a sign-up sheet for anybody interested in serving on boards and commissions. She signed and put her name. I met with her. I think she'll be a fine addition to the Parks Board. And I'm looking for a motion to approve the appointment of Sharon Kearney to the Parks Board.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Evans. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you.
Can you give Tony her contact information?
I will.
Okay.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have Mr. Jason Hobick from the U.S. Federal Properties LLC. He wants to discuss and present to the council a project that could be coming into Normandy, and I'll let you, Mr. Hobick, explain what we're trying to make happen here.
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to speak tonight, and everybody for coming. Again, I'm Jason Hobick. I'm with U.S. Federal Properties. We're a boutique development firm based in Kansas City, but our core work is working with federal agencies all across the country to help fill a need to build facilities that they can't achieve in federal buildings or federal facilities in the particular jurisdictions where they're located. This opportunity brought us to St. Louis with the USDA, who has a lab facility that's currently located in the Goodfellow complex just down the highway. There are some changes happening at that complex. Many of the agencies, I believe, will be relocating out, and one of the first is USDA. They have put a solicitation out to the public for developers like us to pursue if interested. Normandy is in that jurisdiction of the search area. So, you know, it was probably at least over 6 months ago that we kind of started on the journey to find a spot that we felt was appropriate for this use for the agency. And we're currently under contract with the property next door to us, which is currently owned by the Sisters of the Good Shepherd. And what we're proposing is, again, to bring this facility to that property. We have been working with the federal government and USDA to go through an evaluation period. Our team has been evaluated and shortlisted. You know, so now we're on to the process of evaluating the site, the design, and the cost of the project. We believe that we are one of 5 other groups throughout the city and multiple other municipalities and jurisdictions that are competing for this project. To give you a little insight on the size, the facility will be approximately 83,000 square feet, which is rather large for a project like this. It's a good-sized project. It's projected to bring 80 to 100 new jobs to the community. And that's not to mention the temporary jobs and the benefits associated with that with the construction of the facility. We would project that something like this, if awarded through both design and construction, could take up to 24 months to actually deliver the project and for USDA to take occupancy. So we are currently getting pretty close to the end of the competitive process. We believe that will wrap up sometime in mid-July. So between now and then, it's really the opportunity for us to meet with you guys, to talk about the project, to make sure we have buy-in for the project from the city, and to really sharpen our pencil, as the government tells us to do, to put our last and best foot forward, and to bring this facility and this project to the city of Normandy. We think it would be great for the city. I think, small picture, it's great for this site. The site fits pretty well for it and for the city, but bigger picture for the entire community. We think there are a lot of benefits that it will bring. Projects like this can be catalysts for other projects. And, we've talked with UMSL and how they have a master plan for their facility, and they think this ties in very well to that as well. So that's an overview of the project. With me tonight is Doug Rasmussen, who's with Steadfast City. Doug will speak to you a little bit about kind of something else we would like to pursue along with this project. Again, it is a competition. We do believe there are some things that other teams are doing to incentivize their projects. So Doug's going to give you a little background on what we think would work well for this project. And again, the intent is, by July 15th, to put our best foot forward, so we have a consolidated package that we think can really win the deal. So I'll turn it over to Doug, and I can stay up here if there are any questions.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine right there. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Council. My name is Doug Rasmussen. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Steadfast City Economic and Community Partners, or an economic and community development and nonprofit consulting firm. We do work throughout the St. Louis region, but we also do work all over the country. And so we have 6 employees in the city of St. Louis, and then we have 7 in New York State and the state of Ohio. As Jason had mentioned, one of our specialties is working with real estate developers and businesses to look at the economic development support for various projects. And as Jason has mentioned in his presentation, we're aware of 4 other sites being evaluated. The federal government has communicated to the bidders that, because of high costs and a cap on how much rent the federal government can pay, projects with economic incentives will be extremely important to being advanced in the process. And so Our firm is working with the development team here and working, collaboratively here with the community to evaluate that and try to come up with a package, if you will, that would attract the USDA to the city of Normandy. The project itself is, a substantial project, as Jason mentioned, and one of the tools that we think potentially could be helpful is a tool that's been used quite a bit in this region, very specific to this part of the St. Louis region, but then also throughout Missouri and throughout St. Louis County, St. Charles County, City of St. Louis. And it's a tool called Chapter 100 tax abatement, which is named after the revised statute, Missouri statute, Chapter 100. That's a statute that basically allows for a city or a county to enter into an industrial revenue bond transaction where it's not an actual bond issue for debt or bond issue that would be debt to the city on the city's books. It's just merely a paper transaction facilitated by a bond council that would then allow for the city to own the asset in name only for the purposes of making it tax exempt in the eyes of the assessor. That project is then leased back to the developer, who then subleases it to the USDA for the term of the tax abatement. After the end of the tax abatement, that bond structure is collapsed and the ownership reverts back to the developer. So again, no actual bonds are issued to the bond market. The city assumes no debt or debt service repayment obligations. The other element of this is there's actually no cost to the city as well. So there's a firm in town, Gilmore and Bell, who represents cities throughout the region on these types of transactions, has a specialty in representing counties and cities in economic development related matters, including Missouri Chapter 100. And we had a discussion with Mark Grimm, who's one of the partners at Gilmore and Bell, and the approach there would be to have the development team engage Mark Grimm's services on behalf of the city, if this were to move forward, and then work to come up with a structure that provided an appropriate economic development incentive, but also which really rolls back to the gross rent that is being required for the project to occur. This Chapter 100 is a commonly used tool, so it's been used on really all the Express Scripts buildings that are nearby. It was used on another federal project, the National Archives and Records Administration in North County. It's been used. We've represented lots of firms, lots of real estate and businesses throughout the state of Missouri who have utilized Chapter 100, and so it's a common tool that's used by the city. I don't believe the city of Normandy has ever used it in the past, so obviously we're here to discuss and answer questions. As Jason mentioned, the offer to the USDA is really, we're trying to get that prepared really by the end of this month with the numbers, and then ultimately going into the middle of July. So normally what happens in Chapter 100 is, you have if you go through a full Chapter 100, there's public hearings, and there's a process, and there's a tax impact analysis and different things that are produced, all of which we would certainly go back and go through that process with you all, should we get shortlisted. That process, though, will not be able, just based on timing, wouldn't be able to get completed, by the end of this month. And so I think what we would like to discuss tonight would be the possibility to come back in a couple weeks with sort of a proposal of sorts that we could discuss with you all again. We would work with the mayor, city staff, the new city attorney, and Gilmore and Bell to present, sort of an updated, analysis with some numbers and things like that. And then look to have some type of resolution or of support. Sometimes it's called an inducement resolution that then would give the developer some confidence that provided, we get shortlisted and you all in the future would agree to, move forward, then, we could at least have sort of that resolution or some kind of statement from the city, indicating some level of support, subject to future legislative approval. So that's only because of the time crunch, right? So we've been working to get numbers back. We've been, getting constant communication from USDA. And so we're just trying to make sure that we have as best of a possible foot forward as we can on behalf of this project and secure it in the community. Knowing that, there would still be a lot of work to do with you all around this piece, should we get shortlisted again. So I'll take any questions. I know that was a lot, but,
Thank you.
yeah.
It's convoluted, and it's, but if this happens, Federal Properties is in competition with 4 other firms. If it happens, it's gonna be something that happens fast, so we need to educate ourselves as to what the heck he just said, okay?
Question, Mr. Rasmussen?
Yes.
Is that your name, Mr. Rasmussen?
Rasmussen, yeah.
Yeah. You said something about 100 jobs to Normandy residents or who?
Yeah, I didn't want to take that one.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you said something about 100 jobs to the Normandy residents or just, can you explain that to me?
Well, so this project, if it comes to Normandy, will bring jobs to the community, right? So these employees that work for USDA now are at the Goodfellow complex in another municipality. They would work here in Normandy. So, a lot of times we talk about it, Cindy, the first question is, how many jobs are we bringing in to the community? Because those jobs bring, revenue to the community in multiple ways when they go out to eat and, they pay their own taxes and things like that. So that's just to give you kind of a scale or the size of the project and how many. So we understand it's going to be somewhere to 80 to 100 jobs, and there will be net new jobs to the community.
Jason, can you speak to the type of jobs and the salaries?
Yeah, so we've done some analysis, and to be fair, we don't have exact numbers, but this is just based on industry analysis and some looking at what we believe are the jobs that are currently at this complex. But they are all there's I'm just going to read some geneticists, biologists, different scientists. They have office and support. There's a very small warehouse component, but the majority of these jobs are kind of lab tech careers and jobs. So, and on average, based on the data we found, median salary is estimated to be about $74,000. So, there's strong, good paying jobs.
What type of taxes would the city of Normandy get from this project? What would we get?
Yeah, so some of that analysis is what we still need to do, and as Doug mentioned, when we come back, and I know you had asked about the numbers too, we need to come back and present that to you. I think what we didn't want to do is show up today with a bunch of numbers and you guys are like, we don't even understand what this is, so we don't understand what the numbers mean. So I think we need to put those together. We wanted to kind of brief you with the concept today, make sure you had some time to maybe dig into it after city council in between now and the next time we meet. And then we do come back, we will have numbers to discuss and then ultimately help you make a decision.
Yeah, and what about our schools? Any type of impact with our schools?
Yes, if you want to.
Yeah, so you're talking about in terms of economic impact or resident impact?
Explain to me.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the Normandy schools are one of the taxing districts that, the property currently does not receive any taxes. So, I think one of the pieces of the numbers we would bring back is, showing the impact on each of the taxing districts, including the Normandy schools. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one other thing, because my concern is, I wasn't on the board at the time when Express
Sure,
came.
yeah.
And they've been here for several years, and our city doesn't get any tax from them, not at all, nothing.
Yeah, so I think most of Express Scripts, if not all of it, is not in the city of Normandy. It's in Cool Valley, and other unincorporated county and Berkeley, I believe, as well.
Yeah, it's only
That was just an example of when Chapter 100 was used, so.
Okay, I just
yeah.
wanted to ask those questions.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, that really is, yeah.
So Doug, my question for you would be, what studies have been done previously to support the use of Chapter 100 tax abatement? Are there any studies?
So in terms of like planning studies or other just feasibility studies or?
For now.
So, I don't know if I can think of one off the top of my head that's sort of like a study about the incentive tool, but I can tell you that each time it's approved or proposed, there's a plan for industrial development, they call it. That's just the nomenclature. We know this isn't an industrial building, but that has, describes it, shows the tax impact analysis. I think you can point to lots of examples of where it's been used, where it has very successfully attracted jobs and investment that otherwise wouldn't occur. I don't know if I can think of a specific study though that says it's good or bad or indifferent. I don't think anyone's actually done that.
Okay, so then, based on what you were saying about taxes exempt status, that would exempt Normandy from taxes to St. Louis County itself, right? Or
So it would exempt the property, and it would show up at the county assessor as, whatever the Chapter 100 was named, just call it, USDA Chapter 100 City of Normandy, and then that would, the proposal is it would run for the term of the lease, so that, when this is financed and when we're presenting the rent to the USDA, that we can show them a rent that they can, count on for the full term. It's a 20-year term.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, council, my other questions are for Jason. What are the agency's long-term plans for any light that is left as a vacuum? We've seen those of us who live in Normandy, who venture out towards Goodfellow, venture out into other areas, Overland, for instance, St. Anne, where there's a government installation, very large government installation with hundreds of jobs, and then all of a sudden